Oh dear.
Welcome to episode 621 of the Aussie Tech Heads, recorded on the 21st of February 2019. Aussie Tech Heads is brought to you by ATH Web Hosting at athwebhosting.com.au. Servers operate on SSD drives, immediate activation, SSL certificates, Aussie support, domain registrations, easy install for WordPress, Joomla and Drupal. I'm your host Jason Oakley, and we have back again Australia's two top podcasters. I'm joined this week by Will Tompkinson. Hey Will.
Hey mate, how you doing?
Good. Always got to start off with a joke. That was a jolly good one, wasn't it?
We can tell it's been a while.
Yes.
Nothing's just sort of falling together like it normally does.
No, what? What drugs are you on, son? I would like to try some of them.
They're good, trust me.
Good.
So yeah, it's been a while. Glenn's, I don't know, in the Caribbean or something, I think you said?
Hawaii.
Close enough.
Yeah.
All the same thing.
Overseas, having fun.
Yeah, only, got to do something for your birthday, I suppose.
He's not asleep, as we usually say.
Well, I mean,
he could be.
Jet lag, man.
How things been going for you, sir?
Sorry?
How things been going for you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been stupidly hot. Like, hasn't been below 40, I think, in 3 or 4 weeks.
This week we got 24 and rain.
Shut up. Well, I'll tell you what, if this cyclone comes in like it's supposed to, we're going to get drilled.
Yeah.
We're going to have...
Imagine how quickly the clothes will dry on the line then. 90 degrees and windy.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, no, it's, the only good part about it is at least, like from about 8 or 9 o'clock onwards, it starts to cool down. I mean, I think it gets down to like 28 or something, but
yep.
At least it's bearable when you're sleeping. Like, it's still 30 degrees according to the weather app, so what is it? It's 9 o'clock and it's still 30 degrees. It'll get down to probably 27, 28, but at least it's bearable. But
mine's 23.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen 23 in a month.
A month? I thought it'd be like 3 months for you.
Last week we had Victoria had snow, South Australia, Victoria had snow, Queensland had flooding, South Australia had fires or something. Like, half of the country was just...
Yep, so on fire, under snow, or getting blown away and washed away.
It's just been nuts. But yeah, no, we haven't been on for a while because we have apparently impossible to get things done these days.
Yep. Come to Australia, it's fun. Did you see that video today where they've got somebody had a camera pointing up to their roof and the TV aerial's got a snake on it?
Nah.
And there's a magpie standing on top of the house and then chomp, and he takes him off. Off he goes. Check that one out on Google, kids.
Yeah. No, it's well, other than living life, I think we both have 3D printers, and we're both having
trouble.
Love-hate relationships with 3D printers at the moment.
I got the Creality Ender 3. What have you got?
I have a homemade one. It's a combination of several different ones. It's a Prusa i3 design.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like that's the proper i3 frame.
Yep.
But it's an acrylic frame, so you get a lot of flex and warp and stuff. So I got a metal frame. I'm in the process of upgrading it to it's a bigger bed as well. Instead of a 200 by 200, it's a 200 by 400 now.
Oh, nice.
But I managed to print that.
Yay! I print a few small things too.
My PTFE tube slid out of the head and just filled the head up full of plastic, and it was all over from that point. So I'm waiting on a laptop to turn up.
I got a Raspberry Pi and put Octopi on there for Octoprinting, and I printed out the top of the case for the Raspberry Pi and the bottom, but I can't print the sides because that's where it's gone crazy. So I have to invest maybe this weekend, invest some time in trying to figure out what's going on there.
It's one of those things that theoretically, once it's set up and working, you should never have to touch it again.
So I hear.
To get them set up and working is just a time sink. It really is.
Yeah.
So
especially if you're like me in the middle of a regional area and you can't just go down the road to a hackerspace and say, hey guys, can you tell me what's wrong with this? Oh yeah, well, it's obviously the fandangle blong and the fingers have to tighten that. There you go. You're like, oh, it was so easy. You just have to keep taking photos and video and putting on Reddit, and everyone goes, haha, you're just an idiot, that's why.
Yeah, pretty much.
So don't put it on Reddit.
No, don't put anything on Reddit. I mean, I'm in Ipswich, which isn't exactly regional. It's like the second or third largest city in Queensland.
Yep.
But there is no makerspace in Ipswich. Well, there is a makerspace, but nobody knows anything about 3D printers. They don't even have. They advertise. They actually advertise on the website. Come and use our 3D printers, and we'll show you how to use them and set them up, and how to design your prints. And you get there, and they don't even have one, let alone anyone know how to use one.
I was actually helping set up the first one in Sydney. One of my housemates and I read about it, and I said, oh, I want to go to do this. He said, oh yeah, I'll come help out as well. So we went over there, and they had this really old house that was fallen down. You couldn't live in it, but we could make it workable for a workspace. So we helped. We got a whippersnipper out the backyard and killed down all of the weeds and everything everywhere. Got it mowed. We cleaned everything out of the inside and moved a lot of the rubbish out, made the floors nice and stuff. But yeah, we got that done. I think it was called Robots and Dinosaurs, they were going to nickname it. And then but they wanted to charge ongoing $40 a month fee, and I was like, but I might not come here sometimes, so I don't want to spend $40 a month. How about you charge me when I come to visit? No, we want to make it a monthly fee. I said, well, I can't come back ever again. But it was great meeting you guys and setting it up.
Yeah, I don't. That seems to be a common thing, and I don't know why they do it. I've heard of makerspaces, and I've heard of, like, there's a, what do they call it? The men's shed.
Yeah. I'd like to try out one of them, but they're open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays. That's when I'm working. Yeah. I can't go there.
And like, I've been to one, but they go, oh, you can come in this time and have a look around and chat to us, but next time it's going to cost you $10. I'm like, huh? How does that work? Like, the whole idea, it's a community orientated thing.
Yep.
For the community, not, I mean, I get they got to make money, but you don't, that's not how you make it. The idea is you build something, or you do something that makes money. You don't charge people stupid amounts of money to go somewhere that they're probably never going to go there again.
Yep. So. How about some stories, son?
I suppose we better do this.
Can we make this the Samsung Unpacked episode?
I think we can come pretty.
There's no iPhone lovers around here, are there? I don't see any.
There might be one or two stories that aren't Samsung.
What? You're crazy. What are you talking about? Get out of here.
Well, they work on Samsung.
Yeah.
But they're not specifically Samsung.
Well, there we go.
Close enough.
Samsung Unpacked has finally happened. No more rumours, no more speculation. Over the past 6 months, the Galaxy S10 arguably became the most leaked flagship phone ever. The only S10 device that hadn't been talked about much before now was the Galaxy 5G, which may very well lead the charge when it comes to next-gen mobile connectivity. At the entry level, we have the S10e, which comes in 6GB, 128GB and 8GB 256GB options. Next up is the regular S10, offering 8GB RAM for both its 128GB and 512GB models. The S10 Plus will have the same RAM and storage combos as the S10, with the addition of a third 12GB 1TB model at the upper end of the range. As for the S10 5G, there will only be one option, 8GB RAM and 256GB storage. There's also an improvement on battery life compared to the S9 models. The S10e will have 3,100 mAh and the S10 3,400, which is 100 small the S9 Plus, but a lot more going on under the hood, and the S10 Plus jumps all the way up to 4,100. The 5G will be bigger again, rocking a 4,500 mAh battery against a single 256GB storage option. Wireless power share is one of the major features of the S10 range. Much like the Huawei Mate 2 20 Pro, it acts like a wireless charging pad to allow Qi-enabled smartphones to charge from it. In this case, that also includes the compatible wearables like the new Galaxy Buds. It's the ear things like the iPhone people's got.
It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Other features include dynamic AMOLED display, a world first for smartphones with an in-screen ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, as well as the much anticipated Infinity Zero display to replace the notch. This cutout hole includes the phone's biometric sensors, as well as having front-facing cameras. You knew this was coming, so get ready to read whole a lot more this year. But what about the camera? The S10e will have 12 megapixel wide angle and 12 megapixel ultra wide dual lens set up at the rear, along with a 10 megapixel front facing camera. The S10 and S10 Plus have almost the same capabilities with a triple rear setup, 12 megapixel telephoto, 12 wide angle and 16 ultra wide, and 10 megapixel front facing camera. However, the S10 Plus adds an extra 8 megapixel selfie cam at the front. And while the 5G has...
Well, why they got a 10 megapixel and an 8 megapixel selfie? What's the difference?
Because it's a selfie cam. It's better than a camera, don't you know?
What's the difference? Probably widescreen.
Away.
Like a fisheye.
And while the 5G almost has the exact same setup, the S10, it also adds a 3D depth lens on the front of the device. There'll be 3 color options to choose from for the S10e: Prism Green, Prism Black, Prism White. And if you steal it, you'll go to Prism. And it will have a RRP of $11.99.
That'd be US, yeah?
I'd say so, yeah. Actually, I think I got this from an Australian... It would have to be US, wouldn't it? The Galaxy...
I'm pretty sure I was spending like 1600 AU.
Yeah. The Galaxy S10 will have the same color options, but with 128 gig, $1,349, and the 512 gig, $1,699 storage options. The entry-level S10 Plus will have the same color options again for its 128 gig, $14.99 model. And the 512 gig, which will cost $18.49, will be available in ceramic black or ceramic white. Not prism, ceramic. Is that better? It must be, because it costs more. And then there's the big boy, the 1 terabyte Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. It'll also come in ceramic black or white, and it's going to set you back a whopping $2,399 smackaroos. That's $30 more than the 512 gig iPhone XS Max, but admittedly with almost double the storage. Still, wowzers, very much looking forward to testing it out. The Samsung Galaxy S10e, S10 and S10 Plus will be available for pre-order from 9 AM Australian time on February 21. Customers who pre-order from participating retailers between 21st and the night ADT on March 7 will also be eligible to receive a bonus set of Galaxy Buds, and that's not beer, folks. It's not Bud Light, which will have a retail price of $2.49. No, it must be Australian because these are all Australian times. The range will be on sale from March the 8th. We are yet to receive pricing or release date for the Samsung Galaxy S10 5G, but from what I've read, it might be around April-ish. After years of testing and speculation, Samsung finally unveiled a foldable phone that opens like a book to become a tablet. Doesn't make that sound though, but it would be cool if it did. Maybe you can add that in.
You could probably put an app in there.
Yeah. The company developed a hinge of multiple interlocking gears that are hidden underneath the screen panels. To make it all function, Samsung invented a new polymer layer and created a display around 50% thinner than the typical smartphone screen. The flexible material is able to bend over the hinge of the device to create more real estate for videos, games, work and texting. Flexible display technology seems to have finally been mastered by tech companies, and Samsung will be among the first to market. If Apple decides to follow it, probably won't be for a while, although I read they had a patent on it. The other major news coming out of this morning's event is confirmation Samsung will have an early 5G smartphone that will be available to Telstra customers by mid-year. It will be among the first handsets to support next generation phone networks and download speeds of up to 20 times faster than 4G. The Galaxy Fold is priced at a mind-boggling $1,980 US, nearly $3,000 Australian when it launches in April in the US. So you can see Mr. T's got video showing there and screenshots of different colours of the Samsung foldable phone. You saw it open and close, and also they put a lovely butterfly on there. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, because you tear the thing in half when you open and close it, I guess.
And the funny thing is, this video, people had mentioned the design of the way they're showing off the phone, and also incidentally the exact song on here is what Microsoft used when they had the advert for the Surface. Exactly the same song, and showing the side spinning around and this sleek edge and all that of the Surface, exactly the same as this video.
Yes.
Just scroll down. I mean, show us
I don't mind that one so much, because the good thing about the way Samsung's doing is at least the screen's protected.
Yeah.
But if you go and you have a look at the Xiaomi one, it's
folds
awesome.
out.
But because of the way it folds, there's probably not so much protection going on with that screen.
I guess we have to wait and see, don't we? Xiaomi wouldn't bring out a bad product though, right? They've always got good products.
Generally, their stuff's pretty reliable and pretty bulletproof.
You have to expect this has been in testing for like 5 years.
Yeah, my biggest concern is obviously now the entire phone is glass instead of just the screen. You know, like if you drop it, and it's not like you can put a case on it.
No. So you just found the conspiracy. They're putting the case manufacturers out of business. Take that, Etsy. Huh? How do you like that? Etsy goes bankrupt because of Samsung and Xiaomi. And what was the first one that came out? The Flex Pi or something?
Yeah, something like that.
And then also Huawei's got a foldable phone coming out at some stage, and is that Motorola Razr foldable flip phone that sort of folds this way into the middle, instead of that way.
Clamshell.
Yeah.
It's like the old clamshell style phones. I was found this thing with the. I was just reading a bit on these Galaxy Buds.
Yep.
They look like a very interesting product. It's interesting though. I love. The only thing I'm not sure about, because I haven't used the Apple ones, I don't know how this works, but the microphone for making phone calls intrigues me.
Yep.
How a microphone that's 6 inches away from your mouth can...
Well, they have a lot of amplifying and noise cancelling and stuff, I expect.
They'd have to.
Yeah.
When they're saying that they also have ambient mode that allows you to hear your surrounds even when you're playing music.
I said that like a year ago. I said to my dad when he got his hearing aid, I said they should just have those Apple AirPods and just enable it to amplify stuff, and you wouldn't need to have a ear anymore.
Well, you wouldn't need ears anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine who works for a major corporation and does a lot of R&D on hearing aids and that sort of product.
Yep.
And he's saying that they're behind. The phone manufacturers are 4 or 5 years ahead of the technology that they're using. Like for them to do, because this was when the earpod things come out, and he was saying that for them to do that in a hearing aid makes it a $5,000 hearing aid.
Yep.
And yet they're $1,000 or whatever they were, $500 or whatever the earpods are worth.
Well, yeah, my dad's cousin said he was going to get hearing aids, and the ones that his doctor said that he had to get were going to cost him, I think, $8,000 to $10,000 Australian. So he was happy that he managed to buy it online for about $3,000 to $4,000. And Dad was like, well, mine cost $1,000 and they work really well and look exactly the same, do the same thing, and I just got it in Australia from my hearing aid specialist, so I don't know why yours was $8,000 to $10,000 you had to send away overseas for it. He's like, what?
And what's interesting is that he was saying that, look, the miniaturization technology that they're using, they can't do that yet. They don't have the technology to do that.
Well, take the Google ones. They translate languages live for you just by sticking it in your ear, and it listens and tells you what the people are saying. So try doing that with a hearing aid.
Yeah, I mean, okay, the only difference in a hearing aid is they've got to last, they try to make them last 12 or 14 hours on a battery.
Yeah.
I mean, as it is, these last, but the thing is, these are receiving and transmitting, and they're still lasting 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
The cool part about these, you put them in the case, and the case is the charger.
Yeah.
So either the case
Or with
has
the
a
new
battery,
Samsungs, you put the phone down and you put the buds on top, and the phone is the Qi charger.
wireless charger, yeah. Or you can put them in the case, and the case has got a battery in it
Yeah.
as well. So it quick charges when you put it on the Qi charger, but it has a battery as well that'll wirelessly charge the pods.
Yep.
Um,
It's going to put them out of
You know,
business.
so-
There's 2 conspiracies we got tonight. Yes, what a great show.
you know, so it's just interesting. I'm hoping that, see, as soon as I'll give you an example with medical stuff and just having a stupidly expensive price for the sake of having a stupidly expensive price. We deal with medical companies that sell batteries, obviously, and a couple of the mobs we deal with, one is a mobility scooter place.
Mm-hmm.
We retail the batteries out of our shop for a mobility scooter for, depending on the battery, but the most common one is a 75 amp hour. We retail them for about $180 or $200, somewhere around there. And the mobility scooter places buy them off us at trade price and sell them to their customers at over $500 each.
Profit, ka-ching.
You know, yeah, it's just insane. And also,
you were telling me that about car batteries too, when I was talking about I had to replace my car battery. You're like, dude, I'll send you one couriered cheaper than you'll be able to get it from anyone nearby.
Yeah, it's the same with like a lot of the beds and stuff that have, and the stair climbers and stuff that help for mobility. You know, to replace well, that's a good example. Those stair climbers, they're basically a seat that you hop on and they carry you up the stairs and you hop off at the top. The batteries for those are $18 each or something. The mobility companies charge like $300 each for those.
Whoa.
You know, it's just, as soon as you put medical into anything, it just gets insanely expensive. Like there's 18650s that you can pick up for $3 or $4 a battery. These are used in medical equipment for everything basically now, from defibrillators through to the heart rate monitors through to the, you know, basically everything uses these now. Okay, a good quality, high spec, top of the range Gen 2 Senyo or LG, they're $15 a battery. As soon as you mention that they're for medical, they're suddenly $80 or $90 a battery. So,
and for military, it's $800 a battery.
Yeah, basically. So as soon as you add, you know, medical into the mix, it's just absolutely stupid. And the whole system is designed like that from end to end. Like you can't, like even the what are they called? The emergency beacons for boats. Same thing. They've got. You can repack the batteries for about $20 for a repack, but because you're not a certified installer, if they check it out and find out that it hasn't been installed by a certified installer, it's like a $1,000 fine, and they charge like $500 to recertify and repack the batteries.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's just a scam from one end to the other.
Wow.
But anyway,
what story you got?
So yeah, so hopefully that'll sort of taper across into mainstream and make some of that sort of stuff cheaper. I'll quickly do a couple of non-Android stories, just because.
What?
One of them's quite funny. Well, you know how WinRAR, you know, the.
Oh yes, I heard that story.
World's most expensive, you know.
Never paid for shareware.
And is dipped at like the 30-day you must pay for it.
The first never pay shareware, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But I just find it funny. The headline: WinRAR versions released in the last 19 years, all impacted by the same security flaw. Like, WinRAR is one of the most popular Windows file compression applications. Last month, patched a severe security flaw that can be abused to hijack user systems by tricking WinRAR into opening a malicious archive. The vulnerability discovered last year by security researchers, you know, has been in every version for the last 19 years. On its website, the WinRAR team boasts of having a user base of 500 million users, all of whom are most likely impacted.
And none of whom have paid.
No, that's right. The good news is for WinRAR users, the WinRAR devs released an update to fix the issue. But I mean, has it been an issue because nobody's ever used it, or has it not never been an issue? Oh, sorry, nobody's ever paid for it, so therefore they've never had the money to fix it.
Yep.
Or is it just never been an issue because everybody loves WinRAR for what they've done so much that nobody's ever tried to hack it?
That's It's not Windows, it's WinRAR. That's okay.
That's right.
Don't try and hack that. You know what I was going to do? I was going to hack one of these decompression programs. Well, don't do it to WinRAR, you bastard. We love that one. WinZip, yep, go straight ahead. 7-zip is right out because everyone loves 7-zip, but WinRAR, it's like a baby that everyone loves.
Oh yeah, it is. It's kind of weird like that. Another one they might need to just be wary of. There's a new. Well, I guess this is Android related. I don't know. I don't know if it's in the Apple Store. Actually, I haven't read that far down. There's a new bot infecting phones that's been deliberately put into apps. It's called DrainerBot.
Flushes your phone down the drain.
Yeah. A new ad fraud campaign is potentially costing victims hundreds of dollars a year in data bills through infected Android apps and games. Dubbed DrainerBot by Oracle researchers, the scheme has been described as a major mobile ad fraud operation which has been distributed through at least 10 million downloads of infected consumer applications. The DrainerBot code has been unpacked and found in malicious software development kits relating to Android mobile phone apps, many of which have proven popular, including Perfect 365, Vertex Club, Draw, Clash of Clans, Touch and Beat, Cinema, and Solitaire 4 Seasons. DrainerBot's code overlays invisible fraudulent ads to devices when apps are in use. The infected app will then report back to the ad network connected to the scheme the ad has been viewed on a legitimate publisher's website, and the results of fraudulent revenue kickbacks with the actors involved. Oracle says the video ads are in play, and these kinds of advertisements generally offer more revenue than simple banner ads. The legitimate ad network have been signed up with unwittingly defrauded out of serious cash. It's not just ad networks which are being scammed, however, as the DrainerBot code is showing ads which are invisible. Users may not realise anything is wrong until they receive their data bills, which would be heavily impacted by the constant launch and play of online videos. Oracle said infected apps can consume over 10 gig a month, which is potentially hundreds of dollars per year or more. This is one of those cases where there's actually nothing. Everything in this is legit. The SDK is legit, the app that they're using is legit, it has other applications, it's just being used incorrectly. The actual apps it's been used on, a lot of them are actually very high quality, well-known applications. They're legitimately playing ads. Everything about this is legit except for the fact that you can't see them.
Yep.
So they don't show up as malicious.
I would like to see more ads on websites that are like that. They're invisible, you can't see or hear them.
Yeah, pretty much. And of course, as soon as they discover them, they can shut down that ad revenue stream because you can find out what ads are playing and where that revenue is going. But because it's being used, because legitimate programs are being used to create it and everything's being created legitimately, it's very hard to determine which applications have it, and because there's also a thing with Android, if you've got bad signal connection or you drop signal or something like that, a lot of the time the ad will start to play and then won't, or it looks like it's going to, or it will kick you back to the program, or sometimes the ad's not there so it'll drop you back to the show. It's very hard from an end user's point of view to tell whether it's just a bad ad or the ad's just not working.
Yep.
As opposed to whether they've actually got an app that's got this in it. So it's just a very interesting, and it's interesting that Oracle figured it out.
Yeah.
So
didn't even know they had a vulnerabilities team.
No, basically no. Basically, if you're being, if you're getting excessive data bills or excessive data usage and you can't figure out why, it might be worth going through your apps and just seeing if there's something.
I just blame it on Facebook.
If usually is, all YouTube playing in 1080 for no reason. You can go to the Oracle website, find out they've got a list of known apps there. Obviously, more is being added to that as they know. The other thing you can notice too, sometimes you'll be watching, your phone will just start getting really, really hot. That's sometimes a good indication that something's not up and something's using a lot more processor than it should. So it could also be a bad battery, but sometimes that's an indication something's up as well.
Yep.
Jeez.
Toyota Australia staff have been told to switch off their computers after the country's number one car brand was hit by a cyber attack. Employees have lost access to email and other cloud-based information following what the company described as an attempted cyber attack. Staff were told to switch off computers yesterday morning and informed the company would be offline until lunchtime tomorrow. The attack on Toyota follows confirmation from the Prime Minister that Australia's major political parties had recently been hit, as had the Parliament House computer network. A Melbourne hospital has also been the victim of a cyber attack this week. A statement released by Toyota says the company believes no private employee or customer data has been accessed. The threat has been managed by our IT department, working closely with international cybersecurity experts to get systems up and running again. At this stage, no further details about the origin of the attack. However, I think the medical one and maybe the Parliament one, which they haven't told much about, then definitely the medical one was hit with like crypto locker.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, there's people has hacks into our network and they've taken it over and encrypted stuff. No. One of your idiots in there received the email, clicked on a link and downloaded crypto locker, which infected their computer and all the ones on the network. But they're not going to own up. I was the one who downloaded it because they won't have a job anymore.
A couple of years ago, I don't know if you remember, there was a big uproar how the Queensland Police were using pirated copies of software that they weren't allowed to use anymore for all their stuff, because they had a license to use like 100 workstations
installs,
or something with your software on it, and they're using it like on every computer they have. And like the company come forward and said, look, you're the police, you can't do that, like that's fraud. Anyway, so about that time, it was funny how like they just had a massive cyber attack.
Yep.
And they don't understand why or how it happened. They just told everybody the software they were running. I mean, come on. What did you expect was going to happen?
We're all running Windows NT version 357. Does anybody know of any vulnerabilities in that? Please email the police at hackme@police.com.au.
The government ones is anonymous again. When they got in 8 or 10 years ago, the first time,
yep,
they literally said, don't worry, we're just in here looking around, we haven't done anything, we have left the back door though, so we can come in whenever we want. And they've been in several times since then. You can go to there if you know much about the Tor network and the dark web, you'll have no trouble finding the information that they have released.
How about that?
That's also, a lot of it goes to the WikiLeaks as well. Tor site, not the one on the internet, because that's useless. You got to get you got to go undercover.
Yep.
Somewhat to get it.
A lot.
But all the information's there. It's not hard to get. But yeah, so I mean, it just like, I just love the way the government's like, oh, we're investigating this because we don't know who did it. That's a load of crap.
There was very, very highly trained, very clever people who did it. Wasn't script kiddies at all, because we're the government. No. We don't get hacked by script kiddies.
They couldn't have just been somebody doing it for the lols either. No.
And you know what bounces off from that one? More than 2.5 million Australians eligible for a personal electronic health record have opted out of the federal government persistently troubled and controversial My Health Record scheme. Why would that be? Oh, hey, is the government network secure? No, we just talked about that. Fronting Senate estimates on Wednesday, Australian Digital Health Agency Chief Tim Kelsey revealed that 2.5 million individuals elected not to have an e-health record created, as at the conclusion of the opt-out period in January 31, 2019. This is just under 10% of the 25.5 million individuals eligible for Medicare, which is broadly where the agency had hoped to arrive at the conclusion of the opt-out window. The Health Minister indicated in July that he was looking for a 90% participation record. That's pretty much where we've landed. The Department of Health System Policy and Primary Care Group Deputy Secretary Carolyn Edwards said. What?
Punctuation, people. But you know why only 10% of the people opted out?
Because they know about it.
The website didn't work most of the time.
Oh.
I've been there. I went there every day for 3 weeks.
Yep.
And I could log into my account. That's all I could do. I could not do anything else.
I'm not even sure if I managed to opt out at this stage.
You know, no, I tried, and they just blatantly refused to let me do it. So that once again, that whole figure is a load of crap, because there's no way that only 10% of the people opted out.
Yeah,
and
others wanted to.
Under their own laws passed last year, isn't opt out illegal?
Yep.
Under every voluntary system that's been put in place, you now have to opt in. You can't legally opt out.
Yep.
Because I know with all our email systems and all our website inquiries and stuff like that,
Can
you
spam
have to
act.
opt in. Yeah. So how can they...
It's the government.
How
We
can
do
they
what we
do that?
want. Because screw you.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother show. But it's just funny that, you know, they can break their own rules and everybody goes, no, they're doing it for the betterment of the society of people. Bunch of sheep, shut up. Speaking of things that are not going to come back and bite you in the ass at all, Google, well actually this time it's LG, has made more smart offerings. They're making a lot of products that are now bringing smart technology into your home. The Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa compatible appliances are rolled out to 21 markets. So everything from air conditioners to fridges to TVs to microwaves to basically you name an appliance, and it's now connected to Google or Alexa or both.
Wow.
So, you know, just in case you weren't sure if either of those are spying on you. Oh, what was that tweet? I need to look that up. Somebody sent a tweet through, what was it, you, today?
Possibly. I do a lot of stuff. But this even goes to a few weeks ago. I was sitting in the lounge room talking to my daughter, where we've got a Google Home sitting there and a couple of phones that have Facebook installed as well. And I'm like, you know what we should do? One of these times we should just go up to the Gold Coast. We can stay in a motel there or something, and we'll go visit some of the parks there. We could catch up with Mr. T here, maybe see Glenn and stuff, and then next couple of days my Facebook ad stream had Gold Coast holiday apartments. I'd not messaged this to anyone in Facebook or text or anything on my phone. We just talked about it in the lounge room around always listening devices.
Yeah, oh yeah. They actually sent out, I saw a tweet, I'm just trying to find, I'm just trying if I can quickly find it. But they basically said that they don't actively ensure that devices aren't always listening.
Ah, no, that wouldn't have been me, but it sounds interesting.
I'm just trying to find the article now, but yeah, they basically said, look, we don't go out of our way to spy on you.
Yep.
We just don't go out of our way to not spy on you. Is basically what the story says. In a scarily Orwellian revelation, Google is listening to everything you say. Tech giant, the front line of all pub quiz knowledge, Google can quietly record all of your conversations. So yeah, not just using trigger words, but all conversations within earshot. While virtual assistant only responds once you open it, the microphone is active 24/7. So yeah.
On the bottom of my Google ones, there's a button to turn off the microphone, but then it becomes, what's the point of having it in my house if it's not going to respond to, hey Googles?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like, I've actually picked up my phone sometimes, and I don't know, I haven't looked into what it is, I keep forgetting. But next to the battery icon, a little speaker icon pops up. I'm guessing that means the phone's listening to me.
Back in October 2017, Google confirmed that a tiny glitch in its Google Home Mini smart speaker enabled the device to secretly record the user's conversations without giving them the slightest hint of the recording. While they did fix the bug with a software update, but that doesn't entirely rule out the threat that the Home Mini and other smart speakers like it pose to privacy.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I don't actually give a shit at the end of the day, but it's like anybody who expects privacy
Well, they're subpoenaing Amazon for data from Alexas in homes where a murder or something has been committed to see if they can listen to what had happened there, because the device might have info.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, everyone's worried about, I don't want a camera in the toilet. Well, guess what? You carry that in the toilet with you, guess what you have in the toilet?
It's got a camera and a microphone.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Like, everybody's so... it's a double-edged sword. Everyone's so reliant on Google and Alexia and their devices that they're quite happy to forego privacy just to have convenience.
Yeah.
Like for years, the thingy, what are they called? iTunes. I don't know about on the Windows, but definitely when you install on the Mac, it's part of the EULA. It's always come through and said that this software will record screen capture, camera data, and microphone data. It's always said it in the EULA. One, nobody's ever read it, but secondly, the people who have still installed it anyway because they use it.
Yep.
Like it's one of those things.
Bury everything in the legalese.
Pretty much, and it's just, what do you do? I mean, the only way to not have that is to not have technology.
Yep.
But that would mean all technology, like right to the point where you wouldn't even have a landline. You could probably have a normal TV that you could watch normal TV on, but that would be about the end of it. Anything outside of that,
no smart TV.
You're back into the loop again.
Well, we may know, wasn't it the Samsung smart TVs that were listening in and stuff too?
And it's most smart TVs. The Samsung ones were the ones that were made an example of, but basically all smart TVs are. There's no... Well, any smart TV that has a microphone... I mean, there's smart TVs and there's smart TVs too.
Yeah. Some have got built-in cameras so you can Skype too, right? Exactly.
The ones that have the built-in, or a lot of them now, the gaming ones I've seen, with monitors, for example, some of the new 4K curved monitors.
Yep.
They're gaming monitors, so they've got built-in cameras and built-in microphones, so that when you wear your headsets for gaming, you've already got the microphone, on the thing.
Yep.
So, look, it's just, what do you do?
I wouldn't even have any microphones in my house that anyone could listen into what I'm saying.
No.
Hello, testing.
I don't know what you're talking about. The microphones. Who has a microphone in front of their face all the time? I mean, really.
Definitely not me.
But it's well, that's why you leave the microphone randomly laying around the house when you're not using it.
Yeah.
Just to see what comes of it. But yeah, it's exactly the same. There's just to show you how prolific it is when you using the Tor browser, or even pre that, when you're every article you read on learning how to use the Tor browser and learning how to use setting up your VPN and setting up your VMware and all that sort of stuff. The very first thing on almost every article I read, disconnect your microphone and disconnect or turn away your webcam. Like, that's on literally every single article. So they're even saying that even on a fully secure, privatized, encrypted two-way network, that is still potential somebody can access your microphone and your webcam. So what do you think's happening when you're using the internet that's neither secure nor encrypted nor private?
Yeah. I mean, I got a really good tip from Andy Anutko watching one of the shows where he said, you know how your laptop's got the little camera in it?
Mm.
You know what's great for that? Stickers you get on your apples and oranges and stuff. Little round oval sticker, you can put that right over the camera. I've got one of them on mine. I have to remember that every week when I have my work meeting Skype session with the boss, and they're like, okay, hang on, we can't see you, Jay. Oh, that's right, hang on, let me just peel that off and I'll stick it over there. Hi everyone. Oh, is that what you look like? No, put it back.
You've seen the
yes,
Mark Zuckerberg ones. Even on his own inside Facebook, on his own laptops and his own staff equipment, they have the microphone and the cameras covered.
Yep.
This is inside Facebook headquarters.
Well, they wouldn't want anyone spying on them and stealing their information and sharing it, would they?
so funny.
Elon Musk is no stranger to bold predictions, and on Tuesday he lobbed another one at self-driving tech doubters. The Tesla CEO said the electric car maker's full self-driving feature will be completed by the end of 2019. And by the end of 2020, he added, it will be so capable you'll be able to snooze at the driver's seat while it takes you from your parking lot to wherever you're going. I think we'll be feature complete on full self-driving this year, meaning the car will be able to find you in a parking lot, pick you up, take you all the way to your destination without any intervention this year, Musk said during a podcast interview with the money management firm ARK Invest, which is a Tesla investor. I'm certain of that. This is not a question mark. Today, Tesla customers willing to plunk down an extra $5,000 at purchase can unlock their vehicle's enhanced autopilot feature, which is far simpler than what Musk is promising. The technology guides a car from highways on-ramp to off-ramp, including suggesting and making lane changes, navigating highway interchanges and taking exits. People sometimes will extrapolate full feature complete to mean full self-driving. Now works with 100% certainty, requiring no observation perfectly, he told the ARK investor on the podcast interview. This is not the case. Musk said that Tesla drivers will be able to fall asleep and wake up at their destination using full self-drive by the end of 2020. Until then, drivers will have to continue to monitor the technology and be ready to take control if something goes wrong. What do you think, Mr. T? You want to come for a drive down to New South Wales and just have a nap and let the car drive itself?
Okay.
I don't think it works very well in Australia, does it?
It does. The video we're watching now is 2016, so this is not new technology.
Yep.
What's new about what he's talking about is getting legislation passed, because if you look, there's still a driver in the driver's seat. Legally, he's actually supposed to have his hands on his wheel, but they're doing a demonstration, so...
Yep.
But even with the self-driving and autopilot that the Teslas have had, by law, you've always still had to have your hands on the wheel and you still had to be in control of the vehicle.
Yep.
Now, I don't know how well you can see that, but if you look on the right-hand side there, you can see that the computer is doing all this...
Analysis?
Analysis of what's around them and what's going on.
It's like the Terminator, so that's where this technology comes from.
Pretty much. The one thing that even Elon Musk can't answer, and he doesn't have an answer because of the way robots are programmed. If you're in an emergency situation, okay, and say there's a child crossing the road, there's a mother pushing a pram, or there's a family in a car coming the other way, and something goes wrong and you have to hit somebody.
How do you choose which one?
The computer is going to automatically choose the impact that is less dangerous to the driver or to the occupants of the vehicle. That's just the way the computer's programmed to operate. The question is, what would you do in that situation? Would you protect yourself, or would you try and protect the life of the other people?
Depends on how sociopathic you are.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. Like, as a rule, most people would say, well, I would hit the car because that's the greatest chance of survival for the other occupants.
Yep.
If you hit a mother pushing a pram or hit a child playing on the road, they're going to die.
Yep.
Whereas the computer's going to go, well, the child playing on the road is actually the least dangerous for the occupants of this vehicle.
Right.
So this is where the issue comes in with self-driving cars. And as far as I can tell, this is the biggest hang-up. The technology's been there, it's been there for years, it's proven stable, reliable. Tesla Autopilot has actually had, I think, 3 accidents in 7 years or something, and most of those have actually been caused
when someone turns off the autopilot.
Yeah, or from an external source, or the actual autopilot itself generally actually hasn't caused that.
Yeah, well, there was also that one where they hit the woman in the dark who was pushing a push bike across the road, but when they investigated, they found out that the person who was in the car had disabled the safety functions on the self-driving.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the self-driving software problem.
The autopilot saw it, like when you go back, and because they all have recordings and they record for, I think, an hour prior to an event, like they constantly loop record. And yeah, once you go back and review the footage, you look at basically everything that's happened with Teslas haven't been autopilot's fault.
Yep.
But this is the dilemma, like the morality aspect of a self-driving vehicle is the hang-up.
Yep.
that is a question that even Elon can't answer. Like, there is no answer robotically for that question, because the robot's programmed to protect. In this case, it's programmed to protect the occupants of the vehicle.
Yep.
So it's going to do.
It's more of a moral choice.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and whether, I mean, the flip side to that argument is that the self-driving vehicle won't get itself in that predicament.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I love driving. I would take a self-driving vehicle through town, because driving through the middle of the city is a pain in the ass. It's just tiring and exhausting. But actually driving on the open road, no, I'll do that myself. I much prefer to do that. I love driving a vehicle.
Yep.
Do I have a problem with an automated vehicle? No, not really, because, I mean, I let Pakistanis and Indians and everyone else drive me around, and if I can handle that, I can handle a computer doing it, you know. But that wasn't a racist remark, by the way. That was just the truth. Like, all taxi drivers are Pakistani or Indian or whatever, and you're trusting them to do the right thing.
Yeah,
so,
and they do.
Realistically, you know, for the most part, they do the right thing, and for the most part, so does the computer.
Yep.
But no, that's the biggest hang-up on the issue, and it's the biggest problem I see with it being allowed to be purely automated.
Yep.
Like, even trains, you look at trains, all the subways, all the monorails, even the interstate trains can all automatically do their job. It's not hard. They drive from one station to the next station. They've got track sensors. If something on the track, they'll shut down. They do everything they can. They still have a driver, and that driver still has to operate a dead man switch every couple of minutes to make sure that he's awake. If he falls asleep, the train stops. So even
unless it's the one that was going down to Waterfall 10 years ago, where they put a brick on the dead man switch, and the train derailed.
A couple months ago. Yeah, well, that happened a couple of months ago. The mines, the train was leaving the mine and it derailed. And they're like, "Why didn't the dead man switch say that the driver wasn't there, or he had a heart attack or something?"
Yep.
And they're like, "It doesn't work on that train. We don't know why."
Brick.
Yeah, and I think, like, even in a fully controlled environment such as a I mean, you think of a subway. A subway is a subway. Like, it's realistically, for all intents and purposes, it's a closed circuit.
No one's going to walk across the track.
Well, you almost can't. It's damn near impossible unless you're in the subway, in which case it's your own fault if you do get hit by the thing.
Exactly.
But it's about as a closed environment as you can get. It goes, the trains go around a loop, they stop at the station, they go to the next station, they stop, they go to the next station. Like, that's just what they do. Even they have an operator. And it's all because of this thing that you can't. Can you fully 100%, without a question, without a doubt in your mind, trust the computer?
Yeah. And these days, when it comes down to it, with all the things that can go wrong with the meatware, or the wetware as we're sometimes called, then yes, often the computer is a lot better, because it's not going to have a heart attack and crash. It's not going to be changing CDs or changing channels over here, or talking on the phone while they're having a cigarette and go, "Oh, I ran over a 4-year-old."
But on the flip side of that, name me one computer anywhere in the world that's never crashed.
Yeah.
Like, physically, hardware crash. Like, or it does, you know, if a memory chip fails, or if a processor fails, or if a physical track gets damaged, a mouse chews through it, or a mouse pees on the circuit board, you know, like, there's just so many variables. In both situations, the difference is, I think, when you're relying on a human, generally, if a human does something stupid, they usually can still recover for the most part.
Yep.
If a computer crashes, it crashes. It doesn't recover
it's
from that.
It's the brain turned off.
You know, so am I against it? No. I think it's a great thing, but I can't see it. I like for train lines and for subways and for controlled environments, yeah, not a problem. I think that you know, I don't think it'd have a problem with that. For a car driving on the open road, I don't know. I don't think the technology might be there. I don't think the roads are there.
Yeah, not our roads in Australia. No.
No. I mean, I've driven over roads, and even here, that have actually physically damaged the car. They've split rims, they've broken suspension struts, they've physically caused damage to the vehicle. And there's been a couple of times as a driver where I have struggled to maintain control of that vehicle. Now my question is, how good is a car's ability to control itself when it gets damaged?
Yeah.
You know, like I hit a roo and it flattened the front tyre, it busted the front rim, it twisted the front strut, it bent the steering, it did a lot of damage to the bumper bar and the radiator support and the headlight and all that as well. But in terms of physically being able to control that vehicle to not run off the road, it took me, admittedly, thankfully I have more above average driving experience, so having done courses and things like that, but it took me a couple of seconds to recalibrate to be able to drive this vehicle to not crash it off the road.
Yeah.
The question is, could a computer control a vehicle where it doesn't act within the parameters it's designed to act within?
Yeah.
Or the other extreme, I've had Dad, when he was interstate truckie, Dad's actually had a kangaroo jump up and come into the cab, come through the front windscreen, came into the cab of the truck. Whilst it was in the cab of the truck, Dad pulled the emergency brake on and dove out of this truck to get out of there, because this thing kicked while it literally destroyed the inside of this truck. It kicked all the windows out, it bowed the roof, it destroyed the dash, it destroyed all the instruments, it tore the seats apart. How does a self-driving car deal with that?
Yeah.
I mean, the Teslas, for example, rely on the big MCU, the big display in the middle of that's like 90% of the car's control is there. What happens when a foot goes right through that? I mean, how does the car recover from that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, must have some sort of.
As much as I love technology and I love the way it works and the way it behaves and I love the ability to it supporting a human, I don't know if I'm happy about it replacing a human in this respect.
Yeah. That's some good points.
So, just quickly, speaking of old technology, going way back to the starts of the internets, back in Sir Tim Berners-Lee's era, actually. So we're talking 89, 90. There was back when he was developing the internet, there was a machine called a Next machine, which was basically the first attempt at a PC.
It was made by Steve Jobs.
Yeah. In 89, he came up with the concept of a mesh network allowing all computers to interact with each other. And back then they were calling it a global hypertext system, which is where the HTTP protocol comes from. They developed a very, very basic, which you'd imagine almost, if you've ever used X-Tree Gold, has that sort of feel about it. It's a very, very basic interface. It was called CERN, and it was it was made by CERN. It was called the World Wide Web. It was the very first browser. It was actually called the World Wide Web, but later became affectionately known as that. But that's what the first browser was. And they have now recreated it. You can view it online if you want to go to worldwideweb.cern.ch. You can actually have a look at it and have a play with it online. And as you can see, it's very Windows. It's pre-Windows 3.1. It's very Windows 2. If you ever use Windows 2, has that feel about it. But you can do a few things. Like you can literally navigate. You can type in the address, but you do need to type in the full http://www.
Yep.
Because it didn't do that automatically. And having an interview I found funny, he goes, if I had have known that it was going to take off, I would have never implemented that. So I found that funny. But you can, it does have actual linking, but you don't single click it. You actually have to double click, and then it will open up, and it will do something when you actually double click on a link. So it's quite a bit of fun to play with, actually. Yeah. It's on the left hand side. You can't quite see on this screen, but you could, if you need to open a new web page, you actually click on open from full document reference. Is actually what it was called, and then you would type in the http://www.
AussieTechHeads.com.au.
That won't work. It won't work. I don't even know if this works. I haven't tried this one. Is it going to let me do that? Open, then you go open.
It even had an open showing source button.
Yep. There you go. So that's what Google looked like in 1990. So obviously it's quite broken. If you try to click on something like Gmail, it just goes, "You want me to what now?" I'm sorry, I can't.
Einmal anmelden, alle Google-Produkte nutzen. Ja. Ich bin ein Berliner.
So it's pretty cool though. I quite like it. It goes along with the Windows 3.1 emulator that's on mode. So,
how awesome is that?
bit of history.
They probably wrote it in JavaScript.
I would imagine so, just by the way it behaves.
Yeah, everything's written in JavaScript. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful language. Come a long way from just doing some basic stuff.
But, you know.
Yeah.
still really painful. It's like Flash.
Yeah.
So much stuff still done in Flash, despite the fact everybody hates it and everyone knows how to security.
You know, I used to do websites, and we'd get emails saying, "Wow, you should do your website in Flash, man. It's so interactive, and you can have moving images and stuff." I'm like, but it can't be indexed by a search engine. Well, that doesn't matter. Now what happens? Well, Flash isn't enabled in any browser anymore, and all the plugins are disabled, and you have to manually enable it for a website. So, I won.
Including, it's funny, and Chrome, you go to some of the Chrome apps, whatever they call them.
Yep.
And, like, Flash cannot be run on this site, and you're like...
Yeah.
This is your own website, fellas. Hello. So funny. But yeah, well, trap people get roped into with WordPress stuff like that. They start using a lot of visual windows and stuff, which look great.
Yep.
But as you said, they can't be indexed.
Yep. Thanks for listening to the Aussie Tech Heads show, broadcast weekly. We can be found at facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, twitter.com/Aussie Tech Heads, youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Email is Glenn, Will, Jordan Warlock, Eric at aussietechheads.com.au. You can hear Aussie Tech Heads on aussietechradio.com, 24/7 play, back-to-back play of some of the best tech-related shows from around Australia. New shows added each Friday. Thanks for listening, everyone, and Glenn might be back from his holiday next week if you're lucky. Bye.
See ya.